the last hum you'll ever hear. The lights went out 72 hours ago. They didn't flicker, they didn't dim, they just went. And you know what the worst part is? It's not the darkness, the silence. That hum of electricity you got so used to you didn't even notice. The motor of the fridge opening and closing. The whisper of the air conditioner through the pipes. The sound of the transformer on the pole outside. A frequency you felt more than you heard. Gone. All dead. And now you're in such a deep silence that your ears are ringing. Your brain invents ghostly sounds to fill the void.
This is more like a dystopian story.
February 2021, Texas. A winter storm hit and the grid collapsed. It's not a dystopian film. It's the reality of 4 million people. People froze to death in their homes. Hospitals evacuated patients. Shops emptied within hours. Official figures say over 200 dead, but the real number is much higher. This only lasted a few days. A few days. Everyone has a cute survival list in their head, memorized from YouTube videos and disaster films. Water, tick. Tinned beans, tick. Tape, because it fixes everything, tick. That spiked baseball bat you saw in The Walking Dead and thought was cool, tick. Cute, inadequate, and deadly. The grid isn't a convenience, it's a lifeline, and you're about to find out what happens when that machine stops breathing.
But don't power cuts happen all the time? A few hours, then it comes back on?
I'm not talking about those. Not the 2-hour outages where you light candles and pretend you're camping. I'm talking about those who never return. The kind where by the third day you realize that humming has gone forever. You stop waiting. You stop charging your phone, checking the fridge, looking out onto the street hoping the lights will come back on. Because you understand, this isn't an interruption, it's a catastrophe. And that silence is no longer terrifying, it's familiar. That's the real danger. The moment you start getting used to the silence, your survival instinct begins to die. When your mind stops hearing sounds and gets used to the silence, your hope begins to fade. And if you lose your hope, you lose the fight for survival.
Can silence be this hard?
You think you're ready for silence. You're not. No one is. Your brain has been calibrated to artificial white noise your entire life. You no longer hear the refrigerator. You don't hear the traffic, the neighbor's air conditioner, the distant hum of civilization. This has become your baseline, the 0 point of sound. Now it's gone, and every footstep sounds like a gunshot. Every breath sounds like a scream. Every creak of the wood sounds like someone entering, coming to take your supplies, perhaps your life. This is where it begins. Not with hunger, not with thirst, not with violence, with silence. And the slow dissolution of your mind in the darkness.
So the real danger isn't hunger, thirst, or infection.
Those exist too, but there's something no one wants to admit, the uncomfortable truth that separates survivors from the statistics. The network doesn't collapse gracefully. It doesn't give you a warning. It doesn't offer an exit strategy. It doesn't give you a second chance. It just stops. And when it stops, everything you thought you knew about survival, about yourself, about the person you believed would be reliable when things got tough, is tested in ways you can't prepare for with a checklist and a YouTube playlist.
So what really happens?
Then let's talk about what really happens. Not the treehouse fantasy in the forest that looks comfortable and aesthetic on Instagram. The real version. Cold rooms, broken fridges, quiet streets, and you standing in the dark. You try to remember where you put those emergency candles you bought 3 years ago and never opened. This isn't to scare you, it's to wake you up before reality wakes you up. Because when the lights go out, really go out, most people don't become heroes. They turn into frightened children in adult bodies. And the question isn't whether you'll survive. The question is who you'll be when survival is the only rule.
Do you know what the first thing you think of when the power goes out? Light. Everyone thinks about light. Where's the candle? Where's the torch? How much battery is left on the phone? But it's not the darkness that will kill you. When you turn on the tap, nothing will come out. That's when you'll understand. City water comes to your home via pumps. Pumps run on electricity. No electricity, no pumps, no water. It's that simple. It's that cruel.
But don't cities have water reservoirs? What are they for?
Yes, and do you know what happens when everyone tries to draw water from them at the same time? 24 hours, maybe 48 hours later, those towers are empty too. Mathematics is ruthless. A panicked city population consumes 3 times the normal amount of water. Bathtubs are filled, containers are filled, everyone is stockpiling. But what about those who are late? Those who are late are left with a dry tap.
How quickly does dehydration kill?
After the 3rd day, the kidneys begin to slow down. The blood thickens, the brain swells, and worst of all, in the final hours, people don't even know where they are. But nobody talks about this. Everyone imagines armed conflicts, looters, chaos, and apocalyptic scenarios. Is this true? In the first month, most deaths are not from conflict or disease, but from dehydration. It's boring, silent, but preventable. 2005, New Orleans, Hurricane Katrina. People were trapped in the stadium. There was food, no water, the toilets were blocked, and people waited for days. Those who were in that stadium still struggle to talk about it.
So what can be done? How do you survive in an environment without water?
Rule number 1, the second the power goes out, turn on the tap. Fill the bathtub, fill the pots, fill every container. The pressure in the pipes will continue for a while, but it will drop to 0 within a few hours. If you miss that window, you're in big trouble. Rule number 2, if you find dirty water, boil it. Boil it vigorously for 5 minutes. 100 degrees kills bacteria. If you can make a fire, you can survive.
What if there's no fire to boil it?
Fill a clear plastic bottle with dirty water and leave it in the sun for 6 hours. Ultraviolet light will render the microbes harmless. Science isn't emotional. It works the same everywhere. And let me tell you one more thing. Never forget this. Water always comes before food. You can survive 3 weeks without food. You can't survive 3 days without water.
I don't even know how much water I have at home right now.
Most people don't know, and that's why the first week is so deadly. People have thought for years, without questioning it, that it flows from the tap. Engrave these words in your mind. Most people who rush to the shops in a crisis go to the water aisle, and that aisle empties within the first half hour. The first half hour. Those who arrive late come back empty-handed. As you watch this video, how many days worth of water do you have at home? Calculate it. If the answer is less than 3 days, do something about it today. Because thirst doesn't warn you, it just comes. And when it does, the story of those who aren't prepared always ends the same way. Think about your fridge now. That white box sits quietly in your kitchen, containing milk, cheese, and yesterday's leftovers. But that box is actually a time machine, and it doesn't work without electricity. The moment the power goes out, the inside of the fridge starts to heat up. If you don't open the door, it might last 6 hours. But after the 8th hour, the inside of that fridge is no longer a storage unit. It becomes a bacteria production center. Milk, yogurt, meat, chicken, yesterday's pasta, everything is at risk.
What about the supermarket? Wouldn't it make sense to go there and stock up?
Everyone has the same idea at the same time, and that's the problem. What was a normal shopping center 2 hours ago has now turned into a survival arena. The shelves are emptied within the first 3 hours. The water and canned goods section is gone within the first half hour. People are pushing each other. The cash registers aren't working because they're also dependent on electricity, and even those with cash can't pay because no one can give change. What's more, in a place of chaos, there are people who have lost their minds, and these become a deadly risk for you. Is it sensible to risk your life for 3 packets of pasta? The real question is, what do you have at home right now that would prevent you from having to rush to the supermarket?
Most people don't have serious stockpiles at home anyway.
And that's exactly where the disaster begins. People rely on their fridges, do their shopping fresh every week, and keep at most 3 or 4 days worth of food at home. Modern life has conditioned us this way because the supermarket is always open, always full, until it isn't. But the real danger isn't physical hunger. Hunger won't kill you in the first 3 days. The body can manage that long. Hunger kills your mind. Hungry people can't think clearly, make good decisions, or be patient. They become irritable, impatient, and take risky decisions. Families fight, neighbors become enemies. You can't even imagine what people would do for a plate of food.
So what should we do now?
Now, pause this video and go to your kitchen. Don't open the fridge, open the cupboard. Check the shelves. Canned goods, dried legumes, rice, pasta, flour. Check if you have these. How much food can you eat without electricity? Calculate it. Each person needs at least 2,000 calories a day. How many days does that last? If the answer is less than a week, do something today. You don't need to buy expensive ingredients, just a packet of rice, a few tins, a bag of lentils. These are cheap, long-lasting, and will keep you going for a week. While everyone else is panicking, you can sit at home and wait. This isn't preparation, it's common sense. And remember, the most expensive thing in a crisis is being caught unprepared. Imagine this scenario. The power has been out for 2 days. While trying to fix something at home, you cut your hand, a deep cut, and the bleeding won't stop. What would you normally do? You'd go to A&E, they'd stitch you up, prescribe antibiotics, and send you home. But do you know what the A&E department looks like now? There are hundreds of people waiting at the door. Many devices aren't working because there's no electricity. If there's a generator, it might be working, but fuel is limited, and priority is given to patients in intensive care. The doctors have been on their feet for 48 hours because no one has come to change shifts. Everyone is with their own families. And there you are, waiting with a deep cut, with at least 50 people ahead of you in line, and no one has the patience to wait.
So going to the hospital isn't the solution?
In normal times, the hospital is the solution, but in times of crisis, the hospital becomes a center of chaos. Everyone rushes there with the same reflex. Diabetics come for insulin. Heart patients come because they've run out of medication. People having panic attacks come. Minor accidents, major traumas. Everyone piles up at the same door. And the hospital system isn't designed for this load. Even on normal days, there aren't enough doctors for the emergency rooms. Add to that scenario a power outage, panic, and staff shortages. The system collapses. And when it does, your deep cut ends up very low on the priority list.
So what about that cut? Won't it get infected?
That's the critical point. People always think about the big things in crisis scenarios, but in reality, it's the little things that kill people. An infected cut, an untreated tooth abscess, simple diarrhea. Before modern medicine, people died from these things, and when the electricity goes out, modern medicine goes out too. Antibiotics spoil in the fridge, sterile supplies run out, surgical instruments can't be sterilized. You might not go back 100 years, but you get close. Now, think about this. Do you have a basic first aid kit at home? Bandages, antiseptic, painkillers, antibiotic ointment? In most homes, these are either missing or past their expiry date. People think a box they haven't touched in years is emergency supplies.
So would these supplies be enough in a serious injury?
They wouldn't be sufficient, but they would buy time, and time is everything in a crisis. If you can keep a wound clean and delay infection, perhaps 3 days later the system will return to normal, at least somewhat, and then you can go to the hospital. But there are people who don't make it through those 3 days, and their stories always end the same way. Also know this, in a crisis, the most valuable person isn't the one with a weapon, but the one who knows how to treat a wound. Basic first aid knowledge, washing the wound with clean water, stopping bleeding with pressure, recognizing signs of infection. These aren't complicated things, but very few people know them. Now, here's another task for you. Check the first aid supplies in your home, note what's missing, and get it sorted this week. Sign up for a first aid course. Most are free and only take a few hours. Those few hours could save your life or the life of someone you love one day. The hospital won't always be there, but you will always be there. Now, I'm going to ask you the hardest question, and I want you to answer honestly. On the 3rd day, there's a knock at your door. You open it, and there's your neighbor, the man you know, the person who's lived in the same building for years. But his eyes are different. His shoulders are slumped. He has his child with him, and it's clear the child is hungry. The man asks you, "Do you have any food?" What do you do?
I'd help him, of course. He's my neighbor.
That's a good answer. But what if you only have enough for a week? What if you have a family too, and every morsel you give takes food out of their mouths? What if other neighbors who see you giving to that neighbor come knocking on your door too? That's the real face of the crisis. It's not hunger that will kill you, not thirst, not darkness. It's people.
Do people change that quickly?
People don't change. Their masks come off. In normal life, everyone is kind because there's no cost to being kind. The shops are full, the taps are running, the system is ticking over. But the moment resources become scarce, the rules of the game change, and everyone starts thinking about their own family first. This isn't selfishness, it's biology. Thousands of years of evolution have programmed you this way. Protect your tribe in times of scarcity. Don't worry about the rest. You can't imagine what a father who has gone without food for 3 days might do for his child. And that father might be the man you had tea and a chat with just 3 days ago.
So should we be suspicious of everyone?
Not suspicious, but not naive. In a crisis, 2 types of people emerge: those who help and those who take. You can't know which one you'll encounter, but you can be prepared. Rule number 1, don't tell anyone about your stockpile. No one should know how much water or food you have at home. If you want to help, do so quietly, without telling anyone. But don't reveal your inventory, because that information will spread, and the moment it does, you'll become a target. Rule number 2, don't stay alone. Gather your family. Form an alliance with 1 or 2 neighbors you trust. Set up a watch system so that no one is alone at night. While one person sleeps, another keeps watch. This isn't paranoia, it's basic security.
What about weapons? Are weapons necessary for protection?
A weapon is a tool, and like any tool, it is dangerous in the hands of someone who doesn't know how to use it. But the real protection isn't in the weapon, it's in invisibility. Don't turn on the lights, don't make noise, don't draw attention. A house that stays silent in the dark isn't a target. A house with lights on and generator noise catches everyone's attention. Those who survive aren't the ones who fight, but those who don't have to fight. Because if you fight, you get tired. If you get tired, you get hungry, and your supplies run out very quickly. For these reasons, there are things you need to think about now to avoid having to fight. How sturdy is your door? If the windows break, is it easy to get inside? Who can you trust in the building? Find the answers to these questions now, not during a crisis. Think about your phone. That little device is your memory, your map, your calendar, all your relationships, all your information. But when the power goes out, that phone will last at most 4 or 5 hours, and then you'll be left with a shiny piece of glass. That's when the real shock begins. Do you know your mother's number by heart? Your siblings, your closest friends? Most people don't because they don't need to. The phone remembers it for them. But when the phone dies, those numbers die too, and there's no way left to find out where your loved ones are or if they're okay.
Can't you charge your phone with a power bank or something?
A power bank will buy you a few more days, maybe 2. But even if you think the power bank will save you, don't forget that base stations also run on electricity. When the power goes out, your phone will only be a clock, a torch, maybe a calendar. Most stations have backup generators, but their fuel lasts a maximum of 72 hours. After 3 days, there's no signal left. Your phone is fully charged, but there's nowhere to call. The internet goes the same way. Modems, servers, data centers, they all depend on electricity. No Google, no maps, no news. The world suddenly shrinks to what you can see.
Isn't that complete isolation?
Absolutely, and people underestimate how devastating that is. Ignorance breeds uncertainty. Uncertainty breeds fear. Fear breeds panic. Is the power out just in my city or across the whole country? Is it a few hours outage or a weeks-long collapse? Is help coming or not? When you can't find the answers to these questions, your mind jumps to the worst-case scenario and panic sets in. It's not the darkness that drives people mad, it's the uncertainty.
Well, isn't there another way to communicate?
Of course there are, but most people don't know about them because they've never needed them. A radio is the simplest and most reliable method. It runs on batteries, doesn't need a base station, and you can talk to people miles away. Getting an amateur radio license takes a few weeks and keeps you informed in a crisis. An even simpler method is to plan ahead. Agree on a meeting point with your family and loved ones now. Make a concrete plan, such as meeting at this park at this time within 3 days if phones aren't working. Everyone should know this plan and know it by heart.
But these are like movie scripts. Things like that don't happen in real life.
August 2003, northeastern United States. It was an ordinary summer day and people were returning home from work. Then a tree branch touched a high-voltage power line and everything plunged into darkness. 50 million people were left without electricity for 2 days. Subways stopped, people were trapped in tunnels, and 800 people had to be rescued from elevators. When traffic lights stopped working, ordinary citizens had to step in to direct traffic. In just 2 days, approximately 100 people lost their lives. A tree branch, 2 days, 100 deaths. Let's fast forward a little. It's been 12 hours since the power went out. The streets are dark, the phones aren't working, no one knows what's going on, and everyone has the same thought in their mind. I need to get out of here. I need to escape to a safe place. You get in your car and head for the main road, but the moment you pull out, you see that thousands of others had the same idea at the same time. There's a queue in front of you, a queue behind you, and no one is moving. Horns are blaring, people are shouting, tension is rising, and you're glued to the steering wheel watching the fuel gauge drop.
So when everyone tries to escape at the same time, no one can escape.
That's how herd instinct works. In a moment of danger, the brain goes into its most primitive mode, saying, run, move, don't stop. But when everyone acts on the same instinct, the roads turn into car parks. This is exactly what happened in Texas in 2021. Everyone tried to flee the city, leaving cars abandoned on the highways. Some people froze to death in their cars while trying to escape.
So running away isn't always the right decision.
Sometimes it's the worst decision. People confuse moving with safety. Doing something doesn't mean you're safe. You have 3 days worth of water at home, a few days worth of food. The doors are locked. Outside, there's chaos. The roads are blocked. You don't even know where you're going. Which is safer?
But what if we really have to go?
3 rules. First, stay off the main roads. Use side streets. Second, leave within the first 2 hours or don't leave at all. Third, decide where you're going beforehand and memorize it, because your phone won't work. And remember, the best escape plan is not to have to escape. While the herd flees, you wait, watch, and act when the time is right. It's not the hasty who survive, but those who can wait. Think about that night. Midwinter, it's minus 10 degrees outside. The power has been out for 2 days, and the inside of your house is now as cold as the outside. The boiler isn't working because it's connected to the electricity, and the air conditioning is useless anyway. You're wearing 3 layers of clothing, but you can't stop shivering. Your breath forms vapor, your fingertips are starting to go numb, and every passing hour gets a little harder. And in that moment, you realize that the cold isn't just uncomfortable, it's deadly.
Can humans be affected by the cold that quickly?
Body temperature should remain stable at around 37 degrees. A drop of 1 or 2 degrees triggers hypothermia, starting with shivering, then mental confusion, loss of coordination, and finally, the organs slow down. And the most dangerous part is that as hypothermia progresses, people become unaware that they're getting cold. Sleepiness sets in, everything slows down, and you think, if I just grab a blanket and lie down here for a bit. But most of those who lie down never get up again. Most people who die in their homes don't die from hunger or thirst, but from the cold, because they relied on electric heaters, and when the power went out, they had no plan B.
What could be plan B if you don't have a fireplace at home?
A fireplace is best, but there are solutions even if you don't have one. The first rule is to warm yourself, not your home. Trying to keep the whole house warm is impossible. Instead, retreat to a single room facing the south side of your house and make that room smaller. Close the doors, cover the windows with blankets, and choose the smallest room if possible. Reduce the space so your body heat doesn't escape. The second rule is to dress in layers, but dress correctly. Wear something non-sweaty on the inside, an insulating layer like wool or fleece in the middle, and a windproof layer on the outside. Most people wear one thick coat and sweat. Sweat causes dampness, and dampness causes heat loss. If you don't understand the logic of layering, your clothes can kill you instead of saving you.
What about lighting a fire, burning things at home to keep warm?
Now, this is the most dangerous part, and I'm going to tell you a true story. January 1998, Maine. One of the biggest ice storms in history hit and froze everything. Trees snapped under the weight of the ice, power poles toppled like dominoes, and millions of people were left in the dark and cold. In some areas, the power was out for weeks. What did people do? They tried to survive. They ran their generators, but because it was freezing outside, they put the generator in the garage, down in the basement, and closed the door. It made sense because it was 20 degrees below zero outside, but what they didn't killed them. Research conducted after that storm revealed that putting the generator in the garage or basement increased the risk of poisoning by up to 300 times. 300 times. People fleeing the cold surrendered to a silent killer, carbon monoxide. It has no color, no smell, no taste. it just makes you feel sleepy, and most people never woke up from that sleep. If you're going to use a fire, light it outside. Boil water, fill a thermos, and bring it inside. Or if you have a suitable stove with a chimney, then use that. But putting the generator in the garage, moving the barbecue into the living room, that's not a solution. It's murder. What are your thoughts or experiences about these cold spells? You can share them in the comments.
Now I'm going to tell you one last thing. While watching this video, you may have thought to yourself, this won't happen to me. These scenarios are far-fetched. I'll manage somehow. The people who froze to death in Texas thought the same. The people who were poisoned in Maine thought the same. Everyone thinks that, until that night comes.
So what happens now?
I'm not here to scare you. Fear paralyzes. Knowledge prepares. And now you know. You know why the tap has run dry. You know why the fridge is a ticking bomb. You know why your neighbor will knock on your door. You know why your phone won't work. And most importantly, you know what to do when that night comes.